Hey, what's going on? I recently did a video about the iStick and the shortage problem that it was having, and I didn't know too much about it at the time, but I'm going to label this one as Atomizer Short Part 2. Anyway, doing some research and talking to some people, I found out that the little metal shaving that I thought might have been causing the short possibly could have done it. But as I cleaned it out, I've realized that when I screwed these other tanks on there, that sometimes I was getting the Atomizer short code on the iStick again. Come to find out, this is hard for me to do because I'm trying to do the camera and taking everything apart, so bear with me. Anyway, what I was saying is that as I'm tinkering around with these different tanks, you know, I had this tank, which I'm not really happy with it because I just found out that it is a man, like I said, I don't know much about this, but anyway, I just like to pass along the knowledge because when I had this problem, I looked everywhere and I couldn't find anybody talking about it. But anyway, this tank here, I found out that the coil kind of burns on the top, so you almost have to constantly hold it upside down for the wick to get wet, and the more you hit it, the more it was drying out, and I was constantly getting a burnt taste. So anyway, I went to one of my smoke shops around here, and I got this Nautilus, I think that's how you say it, a Spree Nautilus tank. Love this tank. Gives me a great hit, no burning taste. I can actually set the battery up here to like 11 volts or watts, and man, does great. Anyway, make a long story short, is when I'm screwing different wicks into these tanks, I come to find out that some of these pins were pushing out a lot farther. Like this one, the way this one works is that there is no pin. But when you would screw a wick into these tanks here, this little bitty pin here on the end, you can see how it pushes in and out. Some of them stick out farther than others. And after talking to some people, if you look inside this iStick battery, the pin down there is not spring loaded. So what I found out is that some of those wicks were pushing those pins down, and it was pushing the contact inside this battery all the way to the bottom, which is causing a complete circuit, I guess you would say. And it was shorting it out because it wasn't I think it was causing a complete circuit because the pin was actually touching the outer ring of the actual battery. So that's what I've come to find out. So every time I would screw this tank in, or say this Kangertech tank, the pin was sticking out farther than this pin, which was pushing this pin all the way to the bottom, which was giving me the short code. And I thought I had corrected the problem on my last video, but as soon as I took the tank out and refilled it up and put it back in, I got the Atomizer short code again. So what I've come to find out is that I started playing with some of these washers. And I had a washer out in the garage. It was too big, and it wasn't even reading the tank being connected. It was saying no atomizer found. So I got this little bitty ring, and sometimes, depending on what tank I'm using, I've had to put that washer on top of the battery and then screw my tanks down, and that has corrected the problem. I haven't had an atomizer short code since I've been doing this. If not, you know, get a little tool. My girlfriend works at a dental shop, so she got me this little dental tool, and I'll get in there and kind of clean up around that contact point and make sure that it's not pushed down there too far. And that sometimes corrected the problem. But I've had most success with just adding a little bitty washer, depending on what tank I'm using and how far these pins are sticking out, and that has corrected the problem. I have not had a problem with the Atomizer short ever since I've figured this out. So hopefully this helps. I do like having a couple different tanks for different juices and whatnot, but sometimes when I would switch the tank, I was getting that code and it was driving me crazy. So, yeah, the washer for me has been the answer. So just passing on my knowledge. Hope you guys appreciate it, and happy vaping.